All right, let's get started. We can start sitting down for meditation, or feel free to lie down on your back. But we'll just breathe for several breaths here as we settle in and welcome ourselves to our practice today. Let's take the biggest and fullest breath of the day. Use your nose to breathe and focus on your exhales just as much as your inhales. And let's just get comfy as we settle into our body and our mind and tap into the simplicity of this practice. Simply watching the breath flow in and out. Find those seat bones beneath us. Find those two little points and root down through your seat bones so we can lift the crown of the head a little bit taller. And if you're lying down, just connect with the whole surface area of your back. And we'll take this moment of peace and quiet to connect to the present moment, letting go of the past and the future and just being here now, settling in to the room that you're in and settling into your body however it comes to practice today. Taking a moment of acceptance and gratitude for wherever we land on the scale of feeling good or bad, happy or sad, wherever we fall on that very long gradient. Just taking a moment of acceptance and gratitude, no matter where we land. Because we have an opportunity now to deal with whatever we're feeling, to recover perhaps, or abide in. So this moment is a blessing either way. Let's just take a few more breaths here. Taking big, full, deep, long breaths in and out the nose. And we can bring our hands to our heart in prayer if you want to set an intention for a moment, if there's a dedication you want to make, if there's healing you're working on, goals you're working towards. We can set our minds down a positive pathway. Beautiful. Awesome. All right, we're going to come to lie down, and we can simply just come all the way to the sleeping position. Let's start on the right side of our body. You can rest your head on your arm like a pillow and just come to the sleeping position, getting comfortable. Taking a few big breaths in and out. And then we're going to take our left arm and reach it up towards the ceiling and just rotate your wrist in circles. One way and then the other way, almost like you're painting circles on the ceiling with a paintbrush. And then we'll open and close our fist a few times, our fingers. And then we're going to take our hand and grab our shoulder. And then draw big circles with your elbow. One way. And then the other way. And then we can relax our left hand wherever it's comfortable towards the floor, maybe resting on your hip. And then we'll extend our left leg up towards the ceiling and just rotate that ankle around one way and then the other way. So we're really using the hip and the glute here. It's not going to point directly upwards, but we're lifting it to the side here. And then wiggle the toes, curl and flex the toes, and then point and flex the foot. Great. And then we're just going to draw big circles with our leg. I'm flexing my foot. That's helping me kind of get energy for the leg, but you can point it or just keep the foot relaxed and just go both directions. Kind of a workout. Okay, that felt good. And then we'll just bend and straighten that knee a few times. All right, and then rest that leg back down on top of the right leg. We're going to take our right arm and walk it over to the right. And then take your left arm behind you, gaze over that left shoulder, and we come into reclining spinal twist. So you may need to scoot your hips closer to the right, kind of a lift and scoop, if you will, to get those hips more underneath you. But feel free to take up space. Do what you need to do to be comfortable and get comfortable. Settling in for a few more long breaths here. You can take your right hand to ground the left leg if you'd like, if that feels useful. Big breath in and out, filling up the back and belly with breath, expanding the diaphragm with breath. Okay, so we get to simply roll now to the left side of the body, to the sleeping position. And I'll turn around for sake of video and microphone purposes. But we'll just come to the sleeping position on the left side of the body. A few breaths here as we settle in to this slight difference. And then we'll take our right hand up towards the ceiling and rotate the wrist one way and then the other way. And then we'll open and close our fingers a few times. Maybe crack the knuckles. And then the hand grabs the shoulder and we'll draw big circles one way. And then the other way. Okay, we'll just relax our hand down to the floor. Catch your breath, and we'll extend that right leg up and away. So it's a really big lift through using that hip and the glute. And we'll rotate the ankle in circles. I don't know if you guys can hear when my bones crack, but it happens all the time. Getting all those cricks and cracks out. Wiggle the toes, point and flex the foot. And then we'll draw big circles with our whole leg. You need to kind of grab onto something for a little bit of support and change directions if you haven't yet. And then we'll just bend and straighten that knee a few times. And then we'll simply rest our leg back down on top of the other. Big breath in and out. And then we'll take our reclining spinal twist. So I like to reach my left arm away from me, maybe scooch your hips more to the left, and then roll to look over that right shoulder. Taking some big breaths in and out. Filling the belly and the low back with breath. You can ground your right leg with your left hand if you'd like. Just a few more breaths. And from here, we'll roll onto our back. So walk your feet to the center of your mat, roll onto your back, and we'll pick our hips up, let them hover a little bit, and then scoop the tailbone underneath you to set it back down. By doing this, we're drawing the shoulders a little bit further away from the hips further away from the shoulders, and we're actually lengthening the space here, pulling our spine long. And find a nice and narrow straight line for the spine to be on. Getting in the middle of your mat and just straightening yourself out, finding the center. And then we can introduce a little bit of a swish with the knees and the shins as we massage the low back and start to open up the hips a little bit. If you would like to introduce a heart opener, you can take your arms up overhead, elbows limp on the floor. That's sort of an added bonus stretch. Okay, big inhale. Reach your fingertips up overhead, reach them away from your feet. And then exhale, squeeze your legs into the chest, give them a squeeze and rock from side to side. Another opportunity for a little massage of the back. Okay, and then find the center. Grab onto your knees with your hands and draw big circles with the knees. One way. And then the other way. And then we'll take our feet back to the floor, knees up. Big breath in and out. Scoop the hips underneath you. And then we're going to take our arms and cross our elbows for eagle arms or like a pretzel. And we'll just reach our elbows and hands up and away for a nice big stretch through the backs of the shoulders. Unwind and change the cross. Lift and breathe. Unwind, and we'll take just a few more breaths on our back here. Maybe the hands come to the belly and feel it expanding with breath as we send our breath nice and low into the abdomen. All right, so we are going to come up and make our way into child's pose. Get there however you want. I'm going to do something a little bit more energizing and invigorating and rock all the way up. I'm going to rock back and forth several times here. You can grab onto the backs of your thighs, or you can let the arms just kind of reach forward. Something a little bit invigorating or not, totally up to you. And then when you've had your fill, we'll just make our way all the way into a child's pose. And enjoying this posture, one of the best. Getting nice and comfy. And we'll stay for several more breaths. Lengthening the spine and getting a little bit motivated for a bit of a endurance moment. We might do a few minutes of what might be considered a little bit more fast-paced yoga compared to what I normally do. We'll just do some vinyasas, not a big deal. We'll warm ourselves up and then we'll do a nice sequence of stretches that are nice and low to the ground. So it'll be really accessible for everybody, but maybe mentally preparing a little bit to do something more active. Okay, we're going to come into tabletop, and our first active thing that we'll do is we'll just do 3 modified push-ups, and then we'll go into down dog. But to do our modified push-ups, just pick your feet up, and we'll try and drop our upper half of our body to the floor nice and level, like we're a stiff board. And we'll just try that 3 times. You got it. 2, 3, awesome job. We'll take down dog. Lifting the hips up and back, walking the feet out. Yum. Sound effects are more than welcome and encouraged all the time. Big breaths in and out, lifting the belly, pressing the shoulders towards the feet. Big breath in and out. All right, here's where we'll do 3 vinyasas. You can do more or less. You can move at my pace, or you can go quicker or slower. Totally up to you. We'll step forward to the front of our mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward folds. Make sure there's a nice and slight bend in those knees. Let the head be heavy. Beautiful. Bend the knees even more. Reach the arms up, look up, upward salute. And then exhale the hands through to prayer, steady standing. Take a moment to just be vertical. Let the blood flow, let the breath flow. All right, inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank pose, top of a push-up. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, child's pose. Beautiful. So that's a full vinyasa sequence, your basic vinyasa. And we'll do that 2 more times, and then we'll be done. And of course, if you guys are feeling up for it, you can maybe move faster than me and add another one of those, or maybe you move slower than me. And I'll probably always do the child's pose break, but you can go straight to down dog as well. All right, downward facing dog if you're not there. Nice, strong arms, strong legs, strong belly. And walk forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, slight bend in those knees. Bend the knees even more. Reach up, look up. Exhale the hands through to prayer, I like to do, and then steady standing. And then inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. And if you're using a dominant foot to step back and step forward every time, see if you can switch it up a little bit. If you're taking only one step, definitely alternate those feet. Inhale, high plank pose. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, lift your heart. Press the feet down. Exhale, child's pose. This is when we get to get our little break. A few more breaths here so we can catch up with ourselves. Okay, last one, friends. You are doing awesomely. Up and back for down dog. And we'll gently step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, reach the arms up, look up. Exhale the hands through to prayer, steady standing, mountain pose for a moment. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank pose, top of a push-up. Exhale, slowly lower, hit the deck. Inhale, lift the heart. Press the feet down and exhale, child's pose. Awesome. So maybe we feel a little bit more warmed up. Maybe it's time to take a sweater off. But loosening up a little bit for some stretching. Big breaths in and out. Okay, we're gonna sit back on the heels for hero's pose. Finding a tall spine. And we're going to rotate our head. So just make sure that the shoulders are up and are drawing down the back and we're lifting our sternum upwards. Draw the chin in slightly towards the throat and lift the crown of the head. So we just want to be creating a nice and straight, narrow channel for our spine. You can find your two seat bones stacked on top of either heel if you can tune into that subtle connection there. And then when you're ready, we'll just take big circles with our head, nice and slow. And if we are really lengthening and lifting through the spine, you may notice that you're getting more cricks and cracks out. All right, change the direction. There's a little bit more freedom when we're lifting and lengthening. It's also safer, more importantly. All right, let's find the middle of our vortex there. Find the exact center. Take your drishti down the nose and find a spot to gaze at. Again, just connecting with the simplicity of this practice. Okay, we'll lift up on to our knees. You can kind of walk the knees so they're hip width apart. And we feel nice and sturdy. We can take our hands to our hips. Let me adjust my camera real quick. And we'll step our left foot forward first. And we're just gonna take a nice right angle with that leg. So you wanna be a nice square which means that our hips are on top of that right knee and we're pretty far away from that front foot. Hands on the hips. Awesome. And you might be feeling a stretch already through our right quad. And if you're feeling wobbly, take your left foot to the left. This is going to stabilize us so that we're nice and sturdy. And we'll bring our hands to our hearts in prayer. And we'll take our right elbow to the outside of the left knee for a twist. And we'll keep it nice and high. See if you can get your thumbs to the center of your chest and gaze over that left shoulder. And we'll just hold for 3 more breaths. Inhale, come on back. So inhale to lift up. Inhaling gives us the strength to safely come out of that. And then we'll take our hands right inside the legs to the floor and bend that right knee. See if you can catch your foot with your hand and then try your best to come all the way back up, taking the left hand to the left knee. So a really big and full stretch through the right quad. If this is too intense, just balance on that back knee. Just take the foot down and just balance in what is called the dragon flying high, actually. And gently release. I'm going to take both my hands down to release and then lift myself all the way back up. So this is dragon flying high in yin yoga. All right, we're going to take our hands back down and walk them all the way to the right. Your right foot is going to come directly behind you. And then we'll extend our left leg long. And then we'll lift ourselves up, hands to the hips. So this is when we can have a block nearby. Let me grab my block nearby. And we'll take our right hand to some support or the floor, and then swing that left arm in front of you and then up overhead. So we may be able to go a little bit lower. We're doing extended side angle on the floor, so supported by the knee. Really big stretch to the left side body. And then use your core muscles to pull yourself up out of that. And without putting pressure on the left knee, we're going to go the other way, sort of a reverse warrior, reaching that right arm up overhead, stretching through the right side body. Awesome. And then come on back to center. Great. We'll take our left toes forward and swing back to that dragon flying high. And then we'll just sink into a really good low lunge. So drop your hips all the way forward as far as they'll go. The right foot works its way back. The left foot works its way forward. And the hips work their way down. Okay, let's take a downward facing dog to neutralize ourselves before we do that on the other leg. Or you can just take a child's pose. We'll lengthen the spine, neutralizing the whole body, finding that balanced center. Nice stretch through the backs of the legs. Okay, and then we'll take the knees down. Let's take a child's pose for a moment. Even if you were there already, we'll just take a few breaths here. Catching up with ourselves, coming back to the present moment, coming back to the breath. All right, back up to our knees. Knees hip width apart. Ooh, that was my knee. All right, we'll take the right foot forward and form a really nice square underneath us. Nice and upright, dragon flying high. And we'll take our hands to our heart in prayer and then twist our left elbow to the outside of the right knee. And then see if you can get your thumbs to the center of your chest and gaze over the right shoulder. And we'll hold for 3 more breaths. Inhale to center, inhale, lifting. Awesome. And then we'll take our hands inside the legs. See if you can pick up your left foot with your left hand and then take the right hand to the right knee. And if this is too much, just drop that foot and balance. You're going to be working your left quad no matter what. You'll be using those muscles and stretching them too, no matter what. This tends to kind of, lifting up your foot can tend to kind of trigger Charlie horse sometimes or put a lot of strain in the hamstrings. So just be really gentle in this process. And then I'm going to take my hands down to let go. That feels safest to me. All right, so now we are going to take our, we'll come back up. And then we'll take our hands back down. Walk them to the left. The left foot swings behind you and the right foot swings out or lengthens out. And then we'll come upright. So essentially we're in warrior 2, but nice and low to the floor with a knee supporting us. And we'll take more support if you have it. And we'll take extended side angle. So I like to swing my arm in front of me. This ensures my upper arm bone is in the shoulder socket the right way. And maybe you can drop a little bit lower. Extended side angle, gazing up and away. Okay, we'll use our core muscles to get out of this. Ooh, being careful. And then we'll tip the other way. Be careful not to press on your knee at any point. And same thing, if the fingertips kind of graze the forehead and it keeps our shoulder in a good place. Reverse warrior, nice and low to the floor. Inhale back to center. We can take our props out of the way. And we'll walk our hands back to the front. Toes point forward and we'll sink into low lunge. A nice and big low lunge. You can walk the knee further back. You can walk the front foot further forward. Just really melt the hips. Taking some deep breaths. All right, let's neutralize the body, taking a child's pose or a down dog, whatever you're up for today. Towards the end of the class here, towards the end of the day. So just doing what feels right. I'm gonna hold down dog for 3 more breaths. All right, my friends, child's pose, you deserve it. Give yourself a break. Maybe the knees come really close together this time for child's pose, and that's gonna help really neutralize the low back. Let the head rest on the floor or your arms, and simply let the breath flow. A few more breaths here. Slowing things down, letting go of trying, of effort, making things a little bit more easy, simple, relaxed. Okay, let us sit down with our feet in front of us. Taking the feet forward. And we'll take our feet to the floor, knees up, and simply hug your shins in. And while doing this, see if you can really lift your heart upwards. All right, then we're gonna wrap our right arm around the legs, left arm behind you, gaze over the left shoulder for a twist. We'll take a few breaths here in this nice gentle twist. Do your best not to really force yourself into this twist. Keep it nice and stacked, upright, just gazing. Okay, we'll inhale to center. So we're inhaling, lifting out of our twist. And then go the other way. Left arm grabs each leg, wraps around each leg, gaze over the right shoulder, right fingertips support you. Keeping it nice and upright and stacked. And we'll inhale to center. Okay, let's take a little bow. Take a bow, head to the knees if you can. It might end up just hovering just above the knees, but that's all right. One more big breath in and out. And then slowly come on out of this, and we're going to do snail pose. So you'll definitely want some cushion, and if you have a hair tie, you might want your hair tie out, so you really don't want to block, or you don't want anything blocking the back of your neck. So you want a nice clear space right here. And it might take some momentum to get your hips up overhead. I'm gonna adjust my camera real quick. But snail pose is like a really gentle shoulder stand. Sorry guys, there we go. And I found the best way to get into it is really with some momentum. So have a nice clear space behind you, and it's just a rock and a lift. And you can let the knees be bent, kind of hang out. You can grab onto the edges of your mat and kind of walk the shoulder blades closer together behind you, creating a little bit more of a shoulder stand effect. But keep it really soft. You can take your hands to the low back as well. That's always a nice option. And if you're feeling extra warmed up and flexible, you can just take plow pose, but that's a little bit more intense. That's with your feet to the floor. I think I'm going to skip that today. You can drop your knees to your forehead. And you'll notice a lot of restriction through the chest for breathing. Obviously, that's normal. See if you can respond to this restriction and resistance and expand in the places that are available to open up. So expand through all the other areas of the torso and the abdomen, maybe even the hips. See how much we can expand despite this severe bending. Just don't turn your chin or head, my friends. Keep your chin directly center the whole time. We'll stay a few more breaths. You can come down whenever you would like, of course. Maybe we try cloud pose with one leg. So maybe the right toes come down and the right knee lifts up. And the other leg. And then we can come on down to the floor. Take a breath of relief, feet to the floor, knees up. Let it go. Let the support of the floor help you breathe better, breathe more deeply. You might feel some residual effects of this posture. You might feel a lot happening in the muscles of the back. Just breathe through it. Take a moment on your back here. If you're still feeling a little bit crunchy, I don't know if that's a good or right word for it, but we can pick our hips up, scoop them underneath you, and gently place them back down. That might help. And hopefully we're feeling a little bit better through the spine. Wiggle the shoulders away from the hips, lengthen that spine yourself. And we'll just take a few more breaths here on a nice neutral reclining posture. We'll take just 3 more breaths. Okay, so the plan next is for a happy baby. We can grab the outside edges of both feet. And the goal here for me is to keep my shoulders and my legs in their sockets. So drawing the hips and the shoulders down into the floor, almost like you're tucking the corner of your bed sheet. So really drawing the bones into the body, and then we can create a good resistance between hand and foot. And if you want to introduce a little rocking, that's always fun. An opportunity for massage. Okay, and then we'll bring the soles of our feet together, knees wide. We'll do reclining bound angle, and we'll just hang out here for a little bit. You can take your left hand to your heart, your right hand to your belly. You can take the arms up overhead, almost like we're making a figure 8 with our body. That's going to give us a little heart opener. I'm going to keep my Hands low here today. And this will be our last pose before Shavasana. So just enjoying this opening through the hips, the support from the floor. And we get to focus on really letting go. Letting yourself be held and supported here completely, almost cradled by the floor. Big breath in, big sigh out the mouth, let it go. And then we'll take corpse pose, Shavasana. So simply straighten your legs out, let them go nice and wide. We already kind of are halfway there with our reclining bound angle. You can take the palms open on the floor. I'm feeling pretty good with my hands on my belly today, so I'm just gonna roll with that. Close your eyes. Let the skin of your face get nice and soft. I'll see if I can dim things on my end. Hopefully the camera doesn't continue to auto-correct nonstop. It's twilight here, enjoying this awesome time of the day. That slight glow that happens. And just enjoying this quiet time for yourself. Let all of that hard work that we did today, let it absorb into your bones, into your body, into your memory. Let the breath flow freely and naturally, not forcing anything upon ourselves. Simply floating. Maybe we can feel our heart beating. We can sense it in this quiet time. We can notice the subtle movements of the body, the energetic body. Maybe we can notice the belly rising and falling. Maybe we can even feel the breath, the air passing through our nostrils as they pass the skin of the nostrils. Relaxing the jaw and the tongue and the lips. Take a big breath in and out. And when you're ready in your own time, coming to the sleeping position, preferably on the right side of your body so that our heart is lifted. Let's bring this peace and quiet with us as we come to sit upright, and hopefully we can carry it with us throughout the rest of our week. Let us be beacons of peace and balance for the world, for our communities. Let the breath flow, find that tall spine, and enjoy whatever benefits you might be experiencing from this practice. Noticing the simplicity of it all. And bringing our hands back to prayer, we can finish how we started, coming full circle, focusing on your positive intentions and dedications. Bowing our heads in gratitude. Namaste.
Namaste.